me just tweet this. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. Here we are. All right, awesome. All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pure Evil MMA. I'm your host, as always, Evil Eddie. And as you can see, I got this new studio. Thanks to everybody out there that's buying some merch. And today we have our very first special guest fighter. He's actually been on the show before. We drove him around all crazy throughout the city. Now we got him somewhere safe and sound. We got local fighter Harris Bonfiglio joining us here today. What's going on, Harris?
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. When you walked in, I was like, you kind of look like a cop. Like,
I know.
You just have like that body like that.
Yeah, a lot of people have told me. I just have that demeanor about me.
Like in high school, like when you were growing up as a kid, did you always have like a bigger upper body, or
Yeah,
did that kind of?
Well, my father's was always stocky, and you know, a lot of family members are stocky.
And your family's like in mixed martial arts as well. Or...
yeah, my father and his two brothers did taekwondo their whole lives. My father's a grandmaster in taekwondo.
So when you were in high school, did you think that like this is what I'm probably going to be doing, like falling into? Because like I was saying, my mom's a nurse, so it's like you thought you were going to become a cop?
I thought I was going to become a cop or go in the military, and you know, my brother he served overseas, did
oh, that's awesome.
I think 6 years, airborne division, did 3 tours, and
wow,
yeah.
He's your older brother?
Yeah, my older brother. He's 9 years older. But,
so, like, when we were in high school, I remember the recruiters would, like, come to our school, and, like, those are the early 2000s. Like, shit was scary then.
He joined right after 9/11.
Wow. Wow. And
literally
that's
right
so
after.
brave.
He was down there the day after the World
See, like, what do you remember from September 11th? Like, I remember, I think I was in... I think I was in 6th grade because I was living here in New Haven. Then I moved out to Madison. And I was, like... You know, I was trying to meet new friends, and then all of a sudden there was this crazy thing. And here's what I remember. I literally, like, I always remember my grandma being like, when JFK was shot. Like, I remember exactly where it was and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I was, like, always, like, knew, like, something crazy is going to happen in my life. And, like, that was the moment. I remember, like, the school, like, wheeled one of those, remember, like, they'd have the old TV sets on, like, a wheeling thing? Like,
the,
it was like,
what is it, the VHS?
Yeah, it was, like, a big, it was, like, a desk you had to move to get in there. I remember them bringing that in. And then, like, this is what I remember. I remember it only being one plane, and then, like, everybody saw the second. Like, what do you remember from that day?
Well, I was in, what was I, third grade? I think I was in 3rd grade or something. And, I don't know, all of a sudden, teacher got all quiet. Somebody walked in and talked to her, and just got really quiet. And nobody really knew about it because we were very young. But I just remember
parents joking about it a little bit, like, oh, just a plane kind of crashed into a building.
I mean, like, we were in 3rd grade, so that was before, you know, like, everybody had texting and the phones. I mean, if that happened today, I mean, you would know about it in a split second.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I just remember parents picking up their kids, and, you know, the whole school was, like, kind of on lockdown for the most part.
Because we're so close. Like, I feel like we're so close enough that, like, a lot of the people around here, like fire departments around here, traveled there to like help during the rubble, like the when it became ground zero, pretty much, because that was like they were doing that for like a month, and I was like one of the last classes that got to go to New York. And we actually saw the Twin Towers, and I forgot the name of the bridge, but like if you're walking, I think it's the Manhattan Bridge. It was kind of like an optical illusion, like one tower like taller than the other. I thought that was like so cool, but of course, being kids, like you had Chinatown, you had Little Italy. There were so many things you wanted to do. When we finally got to that moment, they were like, "Oh, you want to go to the Twin Towers?" And we were like, what is that?" Like, no, we're good. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to go inside.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to go on a school trip or anything out there? Or?
No. I mean,
have you been there since? Like,
yeah, no, I've been to New York a few times.
Have you been to the Ground Zero site that they got?
I've seen before the building was put up. I've seen it before that, and I've seen it after.
Yeah, it's actually like they're charging people money to go in, which is actually pretty cool. You can see like, because I've been to Washington and stuff like that, and that like really strikes close to home. And there's a lot of kids that were our age after that happened. It affected so many people. A lot of my friends went over there. And what kind of drew you back from not wanting to go, you know, join the army? And kind of take that route?
After, like, I mean, it was right after high school. My brother just finally got back from his last deployment, and he was. I mean, lack of a better term, he was pretty messed up after that. A lot of people in his platoon got killed. He got blown up 3 times.
Jeez.
He survived, but he was in a Humvee, got blown up in half. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Where exactly was he?
He was in Afghanistan.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like in the trenches. Like.
Yeah. Well, he was. He couldn't really talk about it, but it was some kind of classified.
How old are you when that was going on?
I was when he did his final tour. When he finally went in for his final one, I was 16. He didn't get home till I was about 18.
So where were you at that moment? Like you were just graduated from high school, or like where was your life at that moment?
My life was actually pretty bad. So I just competed at a world championship and happened to break my spine.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I fractured what is it, like C4 or something, and slightly broke it, and so I was in a back brace, and then
18 years old in a back brace. That's brutal.
16
Oh,
years
jeez,
old.
damn.
Yeah, and I also was just trying out for the Olympic team.
No shit.
For taekwondo, and I ended up beating the guy who had the gold medal. Well, not had the gold medal, but that ended up competing for the gold medal, and I couldn't do anything with it because I mean the doctors told me I'd never be able to do anything again. So the fact that I even got this far in my life, keep doing martial arts.
Dude, your parents got to be going crazy. Like they got a son serving, you got like a broken spine.
Oh, well, and then on top of that, my parents were getting divorced at the same time.
Wow.
So it was like everything.
And you're from Guilford, so like obviously people are watching this like all over the world. And like around here in Connecticut, like when people think of Connecticut, you would probably think of a town like Guilford, where it's like kind of, you know, upper class, like kind of in the woods, away, just and kind of relaxing. I remember like when I moved from New Haven out there, it was kind of like a culture shock. Like I felt like everyone had like the white picket fence, or at least they pretended to have that. Cause
it's just a mask.
Well, yeah, because when we went out there, it was just bullshit. You know what I mean?
Bullshit.
Like, who knew what was going on behind the purple door? And they would
everybody
kick
was
us out.
Up.
They kick us out of town. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, times get rough like that when you're a little kid and you're seeing all that. So what made you kind of stick with that and not want to get away and like join the army, kind of like your brother did?
Well, I just had
you said the back brace. Does that kind of like take you out of the question?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if my back could handle it.
Yeah.
But I found jiu-jitsu at like 18.
Do you ever get worried like now? Like,
no, it
something
doesn't bother me.
It healed perfectly?
It healed perfectly. It got to the point where they were ready to do surgery. And I'm a big believer in God and in Christ. And the one thing that made me even stronger in my faith was it wouldn't heal for like 6 months. And it was just...
Before you felt any type of recovery?
Yeah, before I felt any type of recovery. And they were ready to just do surgery and put pins, and then I was done. They were going to fuse my spine.
And that can mess a lot of kids up. Like, I know a lot of my friends, like, that are like strung out on heroin right now. Literally, they started because they went to their doctor, got their teeth pulled, and they like that feeling, and it really messes kids up. Like, I will not take pain medicine anymore. Like,
I mean, I'm pretty strong-willed. So
well, if you're in a back brace, you don't really have an option.
I try to do whatever I could to keep training.
Yeah.
Even mentally, I just researched.
Well, I feel like that's a big thing for people out there because, like, for me, when I start my day, like, you know, you exercise, you wake up, you do your exercise, but your mental exercise, I think, is really the most important to kind of stay motivated day after day. Like, look at where your teammate Marissa, Double MB, is right now. Like, she just went through some really hard shit, and like, I think it's so crazy watching what this girl's been able to accomplish. Like, Coach Callendrelli has been pushing her. It's like, should we give her a break? Like, no, like, just seeing that, like, that strength, it's so motivating. Like, those are some of the best stories inside the combat sports.
I keep telling her I look up to her because, I mean, to overcome all that and do what she did, I mean, even, like, up to this point, I mean, it's incredible.
Well, before we even jump into Double MB, like, your brother, he never wanted to do the mixed martial arts route, combat sports?
No, I mean, he got to about a black belt level with Taekwondo, but he stopped to play football in high school. And then right after... He graduated in 2000 or 2001 and just joined the military right after 9/11. And then just basically at war ever since.
Does he go to your fights?
Oh, yeah, every time. He's never missed one.
So you got to feel like, oh, this is nothing compared to, like, what my brother's kind of been through.
Yeah, for the most part,
right? And, like, as an amateur, like I said, like, when you first got here, I was just at Cage Titans this weekend. And, like, you see the amateur fighters get in there and they get really upset if they take an L, but it's like, this is your learning experience. Like when you go through a loss, like, how do you process it as an amateur? Because, like, you're not a pro yet, so it doesn't really count. But,
well, like, for example, my last fight, you know, I lost that fight. I got clocked really hard in the temple.
I was there, man. Like
I
was
was so
good,
disappointed because I was ready to really show a whole new side of myself. If you saw me in training, I mean, I'm ready to go pro. I mean, no doubt in my mind. It was a lucky shot. It happens. You know, people get hit. Cody Garbrandt got knocked out cold. Yeah. Right before he went pro.
Well, you actually, like, when you first started, like, your first amateur fight, it was all over AXS TV. Like, we spoke about it on the CarCast. Yeah. Like, you know, you had a real good thing set for you being on AXS TV, a lot of pressure on your back. So, like, even taking a loss had to be, like, really hard because
I was crying afterwards. I was like, oh, my God, I just lost everything. You know, I thought the world was over. But then, you know, I realized God puts you through trials. You know, you have to overcome things. And I believe everything happens for a reason. So if I was meant to lose, you know, it's something I had to learn, you know, or it's him saying, this one just wasn't meant for you or something like that. There's some type of message there. I'm still trying to figure out that one, but, you know, it happens. But, you know, I'm ready to go for the next one.
What do your coaches say, like, after a loss? Like, how do you process, like, do you take a week off? Like, how do you go through that?
You know, since I got hit in the head pretty hard, it wasn't that I wasn't out unconscious, but, like, I still knew I was in the fight, but it went black. Like, I was just trying to hold on and try to grab whatever I could, but I couldn't. Yeah. You ever get hit so hard, like, everything black?
Not like that. You know what I mean? Not like in a cage where it was like, you know, getting hit like that.
Well, he hit me directly in the temple. Like, directly in the temple. I remember just going in there, exchanging a cross, and he threw a hook and hit me in the temple. I went down, but it was like your eyes are shut, but you know where you are. And that was the craziest thing. So I'm, like, just trying to grab onto anything I can.
What does it feel like when you kind of wake up from that? Like, a lot of people say, like, you don't really remember the fight. Did you remember
everything? I remembered everything.
Yeah, you just kind of lost control. Like,
it was like almost like a flash knockout.
Well, I like the most inspiring thing about it is, like, this weekend, like I was saying, I saw Chris O'Brien go in there, which Joe Giannetti's partner, like someone at his gym. Yeah. And he had a lot riding on it, man. He was pushing for, you know, a really tough matchup against a tough guy. Mm-hmm. Out of his weight class, and you have, you know, your teammate who's on the Ultimate Fighter right now, like, everyone's boosted up at your gym, like, riding that wave in a way. And then he gets a loss, and I remember him posting after the fight, like, you know, I don't know if this is the path I want to take, and it's so sad to see because it's like, I feel like you should know, like, this is your learning experience. Don't take it to heart, right?
Well, I mean, after that, my last loss, I mean, I was very upset because I trained very, very, very hard for that fight. I mean, I wish I could have footage for the way I was training, but, I mean, I was up 4:30 in the morning, you know, doing conditioning, go to work, and then leave work, go straight to training, train till 9 o'clock at night, go back home, start it again. Yeah. I mean, those are my hours. It was actually Sunday through Saturday.
So it's like going through a full-time job and, like, hoping to get the raise and then just, like, nothing happened, like, reset. Like, that's got to be super frustrating.
Yeah, I was pretty upset, and I was ready to walk away after that because I was very disappointed. I was like, you know, I expected so much more out of myself. But, you know, after my coach explained it to me and we watched the footage, I didn't really do anything wrong. It was just, you know, a wild shot. It was so quick. You know, nothing against my opponent. You know, I think he's a very tough fighter, and I'd love to fight him again, hopefully in pro. I even told him, I said, you know, we're going to see each other one day, and we both know we will.
Well, like, I feel like a lot of people who, like, maybe aren't fighters, they can relate to, like, when you go through, like, a breakup or of, like, you're in a really good relationship and you go through a breakup, trying to get back on your feet. Like, it's kind of comparable to that. And it's just, like, I feel like you're at a good place right now. Like, at that gym, you have, like, Yuri, you got Double MB over there. So let's break into Double MB's talk a little bit here because what she's been doing is, like, so impressive. I mean, she kind of shared her story on the show. Yeah. And like we were just saying, I mean, she's just been going through some really hard times, but she's going in there, she's getting the W's. Like, I don't know many girls out there that are putting in as many hours that this girl's doing. Like,
I don't think any girl's training as hard as she is. You know what? They really underestimate her when they fight her. I mean, they don't understand how much work she puts in. I mean, she's God. I mean, she's there at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Andrew, like, hired her to, like, you know, don't worry about working anywhere else. Work at the gym. Like, I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah. She's doing conditioning at 5:30 in the morning.
Dude, I see her running up and down my street sometimes. Not this street, but the Route 80 over here. It's like, what the hell? Get her on Snapchat and stuff like that. It's just like, wow, this girl's grinding every day. And just like the story that she's been through, it's so inspirational. one of the craziest things about it, which I kind of feel like gives her an advantage, like we're such big MMA fans.
Yeah.
That like obviously you're a fighter. I'm a journalist, but we know so many fighters that are out in the sport. Like her when she went out to the Ultimate Fighter trials. There's Barb Honchak that's sitting there. She doesn't know who she is. Yeah. So it's like in her mind, she doesn't have that pressure of like that's Barb Honchak. And if I roll with her, like she doesn't have that.
To be honest, I mean I don't really have that knowledge as well. I'm so busy, I don't have time to keep up with everything between work, the house, training. I have literally no life.
Well, what about this weekend? Like in your weight class, or a couple weeks ago, Henry Cejudo takes the belt. Did you watch that fight? Have you been following up with all that?
I want to fight that guy.
Who, Henry?
I want to fight them all. I want to fight. I swear to God, one day I'm going to fight Mighty Mouse. I'm going to beat him, and one day I'm going to fight Henry Cejudo, and I'm going to beat him too.
The flyweight division is so interesting. There's a lot of guys out there. They just had that season of Ultimate Fighter where it's like they're all fighting to beat Mighty Mouse, and then there's Tim Elliott, who's kind of had to stumble in the UFC. Falls out and then literally almost beat Mighty Mouse on that in the finale.
See, that's the thing. Like everybody, I mean, I understand people get hyped up because you get so many wins, but nobody's impossible to beat.
Yeah.
All it is, I mean, there's a little bit of luck involved too. But besides that luck, I mean, it's just coming in with the right game plan. Henry Cejudo came in with the correct game plan.
Well, he also got 2 chances to fight him as well. Like the first time, like that season that he had of the Ultimate Fighter, he was literally training guys on how to beat him. Like it was like a study group in a way.
Yeah.
It was pretty brutal. And that division, you got Joseph Benavidez, you got Sergio Pettis coming up, like rising. It's really exciting.
I would love to see that fight.
So listen, you got Dana White being like, oh, we're gonna get rid of the straw weights or the flyweights. Like, why would you do that when you have like somebody who just beat Anderson Silva's record? Like,
it's the most competitive weight class I think there is, and the most technical. The lower you go, the more technical it gets because the less likely you're going to get a knockout. Yeah. So there's less chance for you to use like your brute strength because you're so small. It's 95% technique, and then the other 5% maybe a little strength and athleticism.
Well, I think it's good because they're switching it up a little bit. You had a guy that was dominant for so long, and this is kind of refreshing, a switch up. And as you know, like in the UFC right now,
I have to say I don't really count it as a loss for Mighty Mouse. I think they should, before Henry Cejudo fights TJ,
if anyone should get the rematch,
I think Mighty Mouse should be given the rematch next. And then just settle that once and for all, because it's going to be the rubber match. It's going to be, they're going to settle it. It's going to be best out of 3, and then go from there.
Well, as a fighter, it's like, dude, you had the belt for so long. If you're not getting the shot, like it's got to be frustrating for other fighters to see, like, how is this guy not getting a shot? This doesn't give me a chance at all. Then
the only thing I don't know the inner workings. Maybe there was contract dispute or something, or somebody wasn't going to get paid enough. But it was disappointing to see Mighty Mouse not step up and fight TJ.
That's what everyone's saying. I think I give Henry Cejudo some benefit here because he is trying to switch things up. He is trying to, give people what they actually wanted.
Yeah, but at the same time, he has to. It wasn't a. I mean, it was a win. I definitely give it towards Henry, but I think it has to happen one more time.
Like I said, if anyone deserves it, it's him. But here's the other thing. I think this also fires up Mighty Mouse a little bit more for people to be more interested to see him fight now. Like, you had him fight people for so long where it was like there was no competition in people's minds. You know what I mean? There was, but not in people's minds. Now that he has a loss underneath, like when Ronda came back, it was like, what's she going to do? Like, I feel bad for anyone that's in her way, but then we know what happened there.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen to Ronda. I mean, unfortunately, it's just, you could kind of tell, because I've been there. The first time I lost, I mean, it's like a shock to you. You don't realize what it does to you mentally, and you have to take time and process that. And I mean, it's sad, but she never did what she should have done to correct the
recovered
issues.
The right way.
Yeah,
especially getting knocked out.
I mean, her coach, her boxing coach, is just absolute.
Edmund, that's a huge thing.
Oh my God, he just ruins fighters' careers.
Like, if you look at the people that were just at his camp, like I think Jake
Ellenberger left. Look at his record now. What is he like? 0-5 in the last 5
Well, look at Travis when he first came to the UFC. He fought my co-host James McSweeney. Like, he was an animal back then. Then he sees Ronda at the camp. Everyone thinks that. Chase after Ronda and then that whole thing. But it was just like, it's so sad to see somebody like that now in the downside of their career.
If you look at his style, the way he was fighting before he went under.
He was a heavyweight moving around like a middleweight.
Yeah. And then he just stopped. And then you're like, what happened to you? you were great, and now it's like all of a sudden you're just sitting there getting your ass kicked by fighters that we all thought that you would murder.
What do you think about the interim titles that they're doing? Because I think a lot of fans are getting frustrated about that.
Many. Unless like a fighter is like laid off because they're hurt or something. Okay, fine, but they're doing
like when Dominic Cruz was hurt.
Exactly.
That's a good time to do it.
I mean,
after 2 years, strip them.
Yeah, if they're injured. If they're not fighting, then strip them.
Well, that's what they're doing now. It's like these guys aren't injured. Tyron Woodley wasn't injured. He was like, oh, I'm ready to fight in like August or September. Like, oh, let's do an interim title, and then they just screw Colby Covington over. Like, I thought that was so frustrating. Like, you beat RDA, you beat Damian Maia, but now Darren Till, a guy who missed weight by an entire weight class,
he's getting the next shot.
Is getting the next shot, and he didn't even clearly beat Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
Like it's so frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It makes you wonder like what's going on with the UFC lately, because a lot of their fights or, a lot of the belts that they're giving out, it's just getting to look like a little like okay, you're clearly doing this just to hype up the fight.
They're looking for ratings, and it's not even working.
Yeah, it's actually doing the opposite. People are just getting more pissed off. It's like everybody gets a title. It's like Oprah show.
Here's what I think. I think that like. Remember back in the day, like when we were growing up, when we were going to high school, the Ultimate Fighter was always on Spike TV, which was like the guys channel. Like there was all guy shows on there.
Yeah.
Now, even though it like looked good that we were going to Fox, like it was more like a step closer to ESPN. Mm-hmm. It looked better. You're gonna get all the guys in uniform with Reebok. Like everything sounded great. Yeah. But it's on channel 271. You're not just scrolling through the channels and be like, oh, we're FS1, or it's on FS2, or it's on UFC Fight Pass. Now I think it's a lot simpler with moving to ESPN. I think leaving Spike was a huge mistake. It sounded good, but they lost ratings bad after that.
I'll tell you what, ESPN needs the help. If you ever look at their ratings, because they're getting into all the politics and everything like that, which is kind of really disappointing. The reason why you tune into sports is not to get into politics.
Yeah, well, that's the fear here. Like a lot. At the same time, it could be a little better. Like. Look at USADA. They brought in USADA to make it look better. If there's something cringy going on in the UFC, like the whole interim title thing, they're not afraid to talk about it. Like I kind of enjoy that, but the political sides of things, like what just happened with like Andrea Lee and the swastika tattoo, like they could do things that could actually harm the MMA scene entirely if they report on something and throw the sport under the bus. Like you have that fear there as well.
Yeah, I do a little bit, just because if you look at what they did to football, I mean it's. Like nobody's really tuning in anymore, except for like the hardcore fans. I mean, last year? I mean, it was the lowest ratings ever.
Yeah, it's been really bad with that.
It's because everything's turning political. Everybody wants to talk about with the Republicans, with the Democrats, or Trump this or Hillary that.
It has nothing to do with what in my
sport.
Yeah,
talk about the damn sport. That's what you got hired for.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that at the after party or something. But you're not even supposed to talk about that. Like, make your vote, and you're really just supposed to be kind of quiet about it.
It just shouldn't even be the same subject.
Yeah. You're going there to perform. I'm on that same page. Like, I get a little frustrated when I see it, but, like, I do understand, like, they want the right. But when the boss says, bro, don't do that on my fucking field. Don't do it on coach's field. Like, at high school, we weren't even allowed to take our helmets off on the field. Like, you listen to your coach. You listen to the guy above you.
I mean, if, the NFL, if they want to get better ratings, I mean, they got to tell these guys,
you got to be professional.
You want to protest after hours, go right ahead.
Yeah, go on your Twitter
the football
page,
games. They're not tuning in for this. It's not a political message. They're here to watch a game. You want to go protest afterwards? By all means, go protest afterwards, because it is a private business, and they have the right to dictate that to you.
Then you got people like Colby Covington that's like stirring up the pot, like going down to Brazil and being like, "Oh, you filthy animals!" Like, what's the difference?
I think he's trying to do a Conor McGregor, but he's just doing a really bad job.
He's cringing it. He's got the whole.
But it's almost hysterical the way he's doing it.
It's working though.
It is.
That's the thing. Like this era, like we're talking about the interim titles, and we're talking about champion versus champion. Like now it's. WME IMG is the entertainment era.
I mean, how many people have interim champions now? Like, what is it? Like everybody? Like everybody in the top 5 has an interim championship?
They just had Tony Ferguson as the champ. Then they stripped him. Then they had Kobe. They stripped him. They had Conor McGregor stripped twice.
Yeah.
Like,
which I think is also a little bit ridiculous to strip him and then give it to Khabib. Even though he hasn't fought in a year, but he did have that huge boxing fight. He took a year off by all means. I mean, the guy has done a lot. I mean, he fought back-to-back fights nonstop. Yeah. And really
that was
propelled the whole UFC organization.
Take Conor out, you have no one right now.
Exactly.
It's dead. It's a desert.
And I don't think I mean, I can understand the 145. You know, I think they should have gave it a little bit longer. All they did was give him like 9 months. And then
here's another issue. Like, look at tomorrow night's card. If you take an actual good look at it, all the good fights are scattered all over the card. It's like when you tune into a fight, you think that like all the best talent should be up on the main card.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have Joanne Calderwood headlining on your UFC Fight Pass, and then Mickey Gall 3 fights under on the prelims, and then 2 guys who don't know fighting on the main card. It's like when people tune in, the later it gets, they should know this is when I should be tuning in because this is where the best comes in, right?
Yeah, but I think they do that so they kind of give better views all around. So they kind of put somebody popular on the undercard to make people tune in.
It's just confusing, like going to UFC Fight Pass, then going to FS1, and then going to Big
I
Box.
mean, you're clicking on all different channels, for
6 hours straight. Yeah. It's like, oh my goodness, and then you're gonna miss the top talent, like what everyone's talking about, and then the pay-per-view model, which isn't working at all. Somebody like, seriously, how many pay-per-views have you bought this year? None, right? Like,
well, no, I mean.
If you go to Buffalo Wild Wings,
my brother purchased the last one. So
it's expensive.
It is.
You can't do that all the time, and when you have it once a month, you're going to be missing some of the best fights. Why not just wait to watch the highlight on Twitter?
Plus, technology gets better. I mean, it's just easy to illegally look at it. You know,
look at Maymac, man. 100 million illegal views they had. It was just like, that's the era that we're in. So it's kind of cool that it's going back to ESPN because I know, like, all my boys, if we're chilling at the bar, you're it goes right to your phone. You get the update. So they'll actually know what's going on in the MMA scene, even though they're not interested in it. It will still pop up on their phone.
Yeah.
It'll still be, like, part of their day. So I do like that. But, like, another big thing here, man, is, like, the underground celebrities that are trying to break through and fight. Like, yeah, Mayweather, McGregor, that's cool because they're both actual athletes. But now there's, like, Logan Paul and, like, KSI and, like,
I swear to God, if the UFC, UFC grabs any other celebrity and has them fight in the UFC, I'm like, I'm almost ready to walk away. He should have never been in there. I mean, I understand what they were doing with it, you know, because he had a lot of popularity from the WWE, and you know, he's really good with the microphone, really good at speaking. But
what does that really mean? Like, when you're in there and getting smoked, like, did you see his second fight that he had against Michael Jackson?
Well, that fight was terrible, first of all.
Did you think Jackson kind of weaned it out to kind of get the TV time like everyone was accusing him of?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of times he could have finished the fight. And I don't know if it was just sheer stupidity or I don't know what he was doing.
So, like, you can't, like, after that, you can't have it happen again. He's not Brock Lesnar. Like, I don't want to see any more of that, but I understand, like, why the UFC does it.
Brock Lesnar is completely different. I mean, you have a world-class wrestler.
Remember his fight with Keith Haring? Like, the spearhead, like.
And also, he's a physical freak.
Yeah.
The guy's, like, what, 6'4", 300 pounds, has to cut to 265 to make the weight limit.
Character, too.
Yeah.
Like,
that's who he is.
Yeah. It's really scary, and I'm actually really excited that he's going to be fighting DC coming up. Who do you think wins that fight?
I mean, if it was anybody...
Like, can you even believe Stipe got knocked out by DC?
Yeah, I mean, I will give the edge definitely to DC. He's the more seasoned fighter. Brock is not good with his hands. He's got a lot of power behind that. But, I mean, he sucks at stand-up.
He doesn't like getting hit either, as we've seen in the Overeem, even though he just had surgery.
And you're fighting against an Olympic-level wrestler.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, but it's just, like, where the UFC's at right now. But I don't understand, like, do you know who Logan Paul is?
Yeah.
Like, the YouTubers?
Yeah.
Have you seen how many people are tuning in just for, like, those cringy press conferences that they're having with Conor McGregor? Like, it's like Conor McGregor Mayweather / like, it's not real. Like, and people are actually tuning into it, and they're actually having a fight. Like, it's just, it's ridiculous, but at the same time, it's gonna help. Like, how did you become a fan? Like, you watch wrestling or something, right? Like,
the way I got into martial arts was through my father and everything. But the way I found UFC was just watching it. The first time it came up on Spike was season 1 with Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner.
Like, I remember my teacher talking about it. Like,
everybody was talking about it. It was like amazing. We were just like, holy shit, this is like literally a street fight in a cage. But the thing is, coming from a traditional martial art background and then seeing what true fighting is and what it really is, it's, you know, I was like immediately hook, line, sinker. I'm going towards that.
So listen, Bellator is coming up pretty soon. I wanted to see Blair Tugman back in there. What happened? Why didn't he? I was talking to Coach Andrew Callendrelli. He just made his appearance back at CES. Why? What was kind of his decision there? With like, do you know?
Just a good opportunity. I really don't know.
Do you get
the
paid
inside.
more? You think?
I think he got a decent paycheck out of that.
Yeah. Because it was like it was like a coming home party for him. Like the crowd went nuts.
I think he is fighting. Against.
Because he has a good relationship with Bellator.
Yeah, I think he is. He might be on the next card. I'm not sure. I want to see. He is.
I mean, he just fought like AJ McKee. Like he's pretty.
He fought a pretty tough.
He's pretty seasoned right now, and when he was making his walkout, it's hilarious. I looked at the guy next to me. I was like, with Nolan King, who everyone knows who Nolan King is right now in the journalism industry. But I look next to him. I'm like, dude, Blair literally looks like a freaking wrestling figure right now. He's like absolutely ripped to the teeth.
We always say he's like one muscle.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like
he's
I've
an
never
action
seen.
Figure.
And then his girlfriend's like, oh my god, his new girlfriend's like smoking hot. It's like, Blair, thumbs up, bro. Yeah, thumbs up. And we got to go home with 2 W's that night. You had Marissa, you had Blair go home. But
and it was just complete dominance by both of them. Yeah. It was beautiful. Yeah.
But Bellator is coming back around again soon, which I always get really excited when they come around. When you get to become a pro, now with, whether it's a year or 2 years, whenever you decide to make that jump.
Yeah, from what Andrew told me, it looks like sometime in March.
That you're going to be doing it?
Yeah.
When is your next fight? Are you going to take one more Ammy fight?
I'm taking 2 more Ammy fights.
Reality
I'm fighting for Premier.
Okay.
And just got word that she just found an opponent actually today. Don't know who yet.
Plug the date for that first fight.
Was it November 10th, I believe?
Where's Premier, in Rhode Island?
No, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
They usually have it up in Agawam, Mass, but I'm not
It's
sure.
conveniently close for us here on the East Coast.
And then the one after that is going to be Reality again for my last amateur fight, and then the very next one, I think it's Premier again for my pro debut.
That's going to be sick, dude. I'm really excited. You got a lot of people at the gym that I'm really looking forward to. But my question here is, like, with UFC where it is right now, it's going to ESPN, but you also have Bellator, which is making a bigger name for itself in the past couple of years, like really building that roster. Yeah. If they reached out to you and they were like, we want you on the main cards, not the undercards and shit like that, would you?
I would take it, but I don't know if I would sign a contract.
Yeah, why? Like, how does Bellator go about things? Do you really know?
Just from what Andrew's told me, they don't. Like, you have to be careful. If you just start off as a pro and you sign a contract, you might get a little bit less money.
Because they need you guys to sell tickets.
Stuck in.
You guys sell a lot of tickets too.
Exactly, and then you're stuck in there, and you can only fight when they come around. So
twice a year.
I don't know if I would want to be stuck with them. At least at first.
So you do like 1 fight contracts, right? Is that
I would do 1 fight contract, or if they give me a contract, and I also have the freedom to maybe fight on smaller cards somewhere else in the meantime, so I could just keep going with my record, keep gaining experience. Then that's something I would do.
Well, there's a pro fighter that you beat not too long ago, Mike Kimball, who was recently on the Bellator main card. He had an amazing performance, got a knockout finish in seconds, but now he's on the prelims. I'm like, what? How the hell does that happen? Like, it pisses me off. Like,
what he just had 1 fight, right?
He only had 1 fight, but it was a great fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know how he got on that main card, but it could just be due to ticket sales or people dropping off.
Yeah.
Due to like not weighing in, not making the weight, or people backing out last minute, who gets hurt. That has a lot to do with it. So
also, like, they're doing the Grand Prix and stuff like that. I find that really exciting. Like, I would really love for them to do that. Like, have you ever heard them doing that, like, around regional, like Cage, Titan, CES? They don't do anything like that anymore.
No, I really would like that. I would like there
to be a fun, tournament. Right?
Yeah, I'd like there to be a tournament. Yeah,
that would be so sick. Yeah. Like Cage, Titan, CES, somebody like you've got reality fighting. How much fun would that be? Because like it builds a show pretty much. Like you're building an actual entertaining show. Of, like, remember back in the day watching those old UFC fights on repeat? Yeah. Like, just like, you got to do something like that to kind of promote the younger guys that are around coming up. Yeah. It just sounds like a lot of fun. I was just telling you before we ended today's show, like I was just at Cage Titans. Yeah. Have you ever been to a Cage Titans show? Because it felt like I was at games in New York. Yeah. It's like you walk in, you're like, it looks like you were like Lincoln got assassinated. It's like, it's crazy there. Yeah. Like,
I've never been there.
Well, because you fought at the casinos, which is beautiful around here. The casinos are a lot of fun. What's that experience like?
Well, my very first fight was at Reality when I got that crazy knockout, and
at Mohegan.
Yeah, Mohegan, and it was pretty incredible. You know, like fighting for a premier, it's a little bit smaller, but when you fight at the casino, it's like
unreal.
It's like you feel like, wow, like I'm at a big show right now.
Yeah,
it's pretty much the biggest show like around New England for the most part.
And you guys sell a lot of tickets. I remember seeing Double MB like on the poster, like holy shit. But like it's so frustrating. Like sometimes you guys will train and then your opponent falls out. Like that's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, that happens to her a lot.
Yeah, especially at this level. I mean, now that she's making her pro debut, do you know what's next for her? And what about Yuri? Yuri, what's Yuri's last name? I can't remember. Fedotov or something crazy.
I'd have to look it up.
I actually got it written down. But what did he just win? He just won like the Golden Glove or something crazy like that. Didn't he just win a big award?
I want to say that was back in, what was it, like April? He just won.
Yuri Panferov. Yuri Panferov. He's from Russia, right?
Yeah, born in Russia. I think he moved here like when he was 12.
He's a big kid.
Yeah.
He's a big kid.
Yeah.
He's just is he doing MMA and boxing?
MMA and boxing, yeah.
So when's his next?
I think he's getting ready for an MMA fight up in where is it, in New York? Upper state New York.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun to go see that kid fight.
He's fighting in a couple weeks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about Marissa? Is she taking a break right now?
Marissa, I mean, well, this week I know that she's on vacation, so she just has some time off.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. But I think when she gets back, I think it's back to the grind.
So with Andrew, I keep busting his balls. I'm like, Andrew, when you get back in there, does it really just seem like?
No, he's really.
It's gone.
I mean, he might compete at jiu-jitsu tournaments.
It's got to be there, right? Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, he's still in freaking great shape. I
roll
around with the guy.
Does he not do that? He doesn't do that right now?
What?
So that would be
tournaments?
Yeah.
You know, he has.
He's just focusing on his.
Yeah, he's really focusing on his team. You know, unfortunately, you can't be a coach and also a fighter at the same time. You just can't.
Well, before I let you go, also one last thing I want to talk about: Nick Newell.
Yeah.
You know, obviously he used to train under Andrew Callendrelli, like right out of high school or something like that. Did you watch his fight? Were you watching that fight or keeping up with it?
I didn't get a chance to watch it because of the night it was. I was training, and then by the time I got home, I found out what happened. And I watched some highlights, and it's sad to see. But
how do you feel about it? Like, do you feel like the UFC is kind of like, we gave you your chance, that's it? Like, how do you feel about this?
You know, I don't want to.
Like, I got Justin Sutner coming here tomorrow night, I think. He's my next studio guest, who was also on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. But it's weird because Nick shouldn't have been on Contender Series. He's more of a veteran. Like, there's guys on there with, like, seven pro fights. He's got, like, 16 pro fights or something like that. Like, it's kind of weird there. Like, there's not...
Yeah, but you have to look at the level of people he's actually fought. It's not just how many fights you won; it's the level of people you beat.
Well, look, New England just went like 0-9 this year in Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. Like, how does that happen? Like,
because of the level that we're fighting.
Yeah,
that's.
I've heard people be like
firmly what I believe, and that's something that Andrew firmly believes, that everybody around here, they take easy fights, they take easier opponents, and they build a record up. And I am completely against that. I want to fight the best people, the toughest people I can find. You know, because there's no other way to get in the UFC or get big contracts and make a lot of money and actually go down as a great fighter. You have to fight the best.
Well, it's scary when you see people from our area get the shot to go, you know, on the Contender Series and then lose. 0-9 though, like something has to be up there, right?
I think it's coaching. And you know, it's like, I'm not trashing these guys. I mean, they've accomplished a lot more than what I've done. I mean, so I can't judge them. But just, you know, going off of what my coach said and what I've seen and what I see, it's just, and if you research their last opponents, they're just not fighting at a very high level. They're very good around here.
Yeah.
They're at the highest level they can be around here. But in order to make it to that next level, they have to start fighting very tougher opponents.
And well, with Nick especially, it's even harder because he's you know, he's got one hand.
Yeah.
So it makes it even harder. He had that fight with Justin.
You know, it's sad because I mean, that takes balls to go in there with one hand.
Imagine like what he's been through, like as a kid, being bullied and like that's got to be rough. Like my heart goes out to him. Like, I mean, you want to root for him.
Yeah, no matter whether you love him or you hate him, I mean, you got to give mad respect to that guy going in there with one hand. Yeah, because I mean, he's fighting with a handicap. He's fighting with one arm.
So what does he do now, in your opinion? What do you think happens with Nick?
Think
they'll give him one shot.
I hope they do.
Like somewhere on the prelims, headline fight pass. Like, you're putting CM Punk in there twice. give this kid like, what's it gonna cost you to put him on the UFC?
Yeah,
Fight Pass
I would like them to. I would like to see somebody around here make it.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I think not even the Contender Series. I think you just need to go anywhere and fight the toughest people. I mean, you look at a lot of what Conor McGregor did, and Jose Aldo.
Look at Andrew Newell, who just fought at CES. He just beat Sweetbread, Dennis Piva.
Yeah.
The guy came from freaking California over here to fight for the spot. Like, be uncomfortable in someone else's hometown.
And that's what I think that they have to do. I'm not.
And now he's fighting Hendon Brown.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything bad about these guys, but I think that's what they have to do. They have to step out of their comfort zone. They got to take a long shot and go somewhere far away and fight the toughest guy that they could get their hands on.
Well, like, even Sweetbread, he's training with Mark Delagrati. Like, some guys actually are in good camps, but like, it's hard to see them go 0-9. And if you guys actually want to see somebody that's been talking about this recently, Steven Domenico 101. I know there's a lot of people out there that are against him or for him, but he talks about this, and he actually brought it up to me recently after this weekend, after the Cage Titans thing. So go check out Steven Domenico 101. Harrison, I'm gonna let you go here in a second.
Right.
The schedule upcoming for you. You said premiere 2 times for the end of the year. Then
then pro debut.
Then the pro debut, and I'm gonna be at each one. I'm gonna at least try to get to each one. Ammo Fight League. Have you ever heard of them? I'm about to try to get credentials for them.
I've heard about. Yeah. I mean, I almost got a fight under them, but then I believe what happened. I believe I decided to fight under Premier instead.
Yeah, I got I forgot the guy's name, but I'm about to have him on the show in a couple of days. What was his name? Not Rudy Lara. I can't remember. But Harrison, thank you so much for joining me here today. There's been so much to talk about. Everyone at your gym is up and coming right now, so it's really exciting to see. I really would love to get more people like Yuri to come by and step in the studio.
Nick Gianletti's fighting on the next Bellator card down here. Yeah,
I'll actually be there, so that's actually
he's having his pro debut finally after a year. He tore his shoulder and had to take some time off. Just came back.
What happened to Rose? Tyler Rose, where's he been?
Tyler Rose, he got engaged.
Doing his thing right now.
Yeah, he just bought a house and working towards getting married.
Because he was fighting some tough guys.
He's going right back into it.
Well, he had a fight against what was the guy that was on Ultimate Fighter? Can't remember his name.
I know you're
Sanchez or something like that. It was but he had a fight against him. It was just like, wow, like Tyler, like I was getting behind him. He's from North Branford, so it sucks when they just kind of like fade away.
He's
a big dude. Yeah, he's a big dude.
I don't think he's gonna be able to fight 170 anymore.
No, not after getting married and.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do 185.
Wedding, working on the farm. I mean, he said that like he wakes up early and he's got a pretty busy life. So even being a fighter, like on top of all this stuff, like I give you guys so much credit.
Superman.
Man.
He's Clark Kent, working on the farm.
All undercover.
Yeah.
So also, if people are watching this, they're local. Callendrelli's gym. What are the classes that they're doing there?
Let's see. You just did a schedule change, so now we have beginner level jiu-jitsu.
So people just call in, you can go and walk in.
You could set up a time and a schedule to come down, try a class. I think you get a free jiu-jitsu class trial.
They do kids too?
Yeah, they do kids. Yep.
So guys, Callendrelli down on State Street, North Haven. Harry's going to be fighting 2 more times this year. We're going to keep up with that. Thank you so much for stopping by here.
Thank you for having
Pure Evil MMA. Guys, make sure to subscribe down below here on Periscope, YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this right now. Thank you so much. We just hit 10K downloads this week on Podbean platform. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like, people are downloading the show like crazy. Like, it's so weird. Like, YouTube is hard.
YouTube all the time. Yeah.
Like, dude, my YouTube channel is suffering, but iTunes, Podbean, like, it's trending, but popularity, like, it's crazy, like, how crazy podcasts have taken off in the past.
They really are, because it's nice. It's like, you could just turn on whenever.
Well, I started the Podbean account like a year and a half ago. Yeah. Get 10K downloads. I was like, holy shit. So guys, make sure to subscribe down below. Also, James McSweeney and me doing Gloves Off, episode 4. Hear why Mike Swick made us take down episode 3. Reached out to an attorney, Mike Swick, real quick to get an attorney. We're going to be talking about that. I know you guys want to know a little bit more. That's a little teaser here, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Giannetti from Pure Evil MMA, MyMMAnews.com. That's Harris Bonfiglio. We're out. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Whoa, my leg's asleep. Whoa.